Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
It stung to watch them celebrate, but it'll be a good image for us to remember.
Two of the very best in the NBA.
Curry, lob back to Rand, who dumps it down.
Kevin Love, he's got 34.
You cannot stop this team.
60.
The first rematch of last year's NBA finalists.
Basketball fans, hello and welcome. I am Caleb Champion. Today we'll be talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to be comparing the two teams as they do play on Christmas Day, and I just want to break down these two teams and see which team is my favorite to win the NBA championship. And first, let's start with the Golden State Warriors. They added Kevin Durant, the second best player in my opinion in the NBA. They also added David West, a veteran power forward, and Zaza Pachulia, who now starts for the team at the center position. Let's look at what they lost as well. They lost Maurice Spates, Festus Ezeli, Brandon Rush, and Andrew Bogut. One thing I forgot to say about their additions, they also added Patrick McCaw through the NBA draft, along with JaVale McGee to come in and play center for the ball club off the bench. So the Warriors' strengths is they're really pretty much untouchable offensively. They have 4 All-Stars and 2 players in the top 5. They have some of the best shooters in the NBA. They're also extremely unselfish with the basketball, and a lot of people thought before the season that there's going to be a lot of kind of hero ball on this Golden State Warriors team. With so many guys that can score at such a high level, you thought they might be disappointed with the amount of touches. But the Warriors are actually the opposite, extremely unselfish, able to get everyone involved, and that is a huge strength of this team. They're actually a pretty good defensive team as well. They're good at helping, switching, and communicating, and they're getting better as the season goes on. Some of their weaknesses, they are really lacking some rim protection. They did lose Andrew Bogut to free agency, and they also lost Harrison Barnes. So their defense, although it's getting better, it's still not as it was last season, especially down low. Zaza, not a very good defender. Bogut, a lot stronger in that area. Also, their depth, especially up front, as we talked about, but the depth at other positions isn't as good as it was last year. Remember the strength in numbers last year with Leandro Barbosa and company. Those guys off the bench providing the firepower, guys like Mo Spates, and they just don't really have that this season. The bench isn't terrible. Guys like Ian Clark are stepping up. Andre Iguodala is still there. Sean Livingston. So this team is not bad defensively, with their bench, but they are not as good as last year. Now let's look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They added Chris Birdman Anderson along with Mike Dunleavy, Kay Felder, and DeAndre Liggins. They lost Matthew Dellavedova, Dante Jones, Sasha Khan, and Timothy Mozgov. And this team, their strengths is their star power. They got LeBron, Kyrie, and the emergence of Kevin Love so far this year. I honestly believe that Kevin Love is having the best year of his NBA career up to this point. LeBron, the king of the NBA, the best player in the league, is also having a good year. And Kyrie Irving taking over, leading the Cavaliers in scoring this season. So the big three is playing better than ever. Also, the three-point shooting, this Cavs team is doing extremely well from behind the arc. Guys like J.R. Smith and even Iman Shumpert shooting better from the perimeter. LeBron James is having a career year from outside. So the Cavaliers doing pretty well from behind the arc. They're also a very solid rebounding team. Guys like Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson crashing the boards. They got some good slashers as well. LeBron good at attacking the basket along with Kyrie Irving. Their weaknesses, again, just like the Golden State Warriors, their bench is extremely weak this year. Losing Matthew Dellavedova and Mozgov was actually extremely key for this team, as they do not really have a backup point guard that they can really trust, and they really need to address that issue before the playoff time, because right now, as it stands, Iman Shumpert might have to take some duties as the backup point guard. Kay Felder, I thought was going to be a good player, but he's just too small and too young to really make a difference for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Also, I worry a little bit about their focus. I mean, they're coasting right now in the weak Eastern Conference. It's not as weak as it was last year, but the Cavaliers have that edge and cockiness that they're going to be representing the Eastern Conference as they should, but they still need to stay focused and take care of business. So now I'm going to break down who I think is better between these two teams. And I just looked up some numbers from a bunch of different categories that's going to help you and I sort of decide this. And you can leave your opinion in the comment section below. Start with scoring. This year, the Golden State Warriors have the advantage on the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're averaging about 117 points per game, while the Cleveland Cavaliers at about 111. So both teams well over 100 points, but the Warriors extremely ahead of the Cavaliers. Rebounding, actually surprisingly the advantage to the Golden State Warriors. They're averaging about 47 rebounds a game, 46 rebounds a game to the Cleveland Cavaliers 44. Passing, another advantage for the Golden State Warriors. Their team is averaging 31 assists a game compared to the Cleveland Cavaliers 23. Defensively, the Cavs have the advantage. They are holding opponents to just 102.8 points per game compared to the Golden State Warriors 103.8 points per game. 3-point shooting, this is another surprise. The Cavs are actually shooting a better percentage from the 3-point arc. They're shooting 40% from 3, while the Golden State Warriors are shooting about 38% from 3. And then I looked at their turnovers. The Golden State Warriors are averaging more turnovers per game, about 15, compared to the Cleveland Cavaliers, about 14 a game. So the Cleveland Cavaliers have the advantage in 3 categories. Golden State Warriors have advantage of 3 of the categories I looked at. So then I looked at just how their roster kind of works. And with the Golden State Warriors, I have to say they have the advantage of the starting 5 with 4 All-Stars compared to the Cavaliers 3 in the starting 5. Tristan Thompson is a better center than Zaza, but still, I think the Golden State Warriors, all in all, have the advantage in the starting 5. Off the bench, I would give the advantage as well to the Golden State Warriors, even though they don't really have the same strength in numbers that they did last year. Their bench is still stronger than the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are still searching to find a backup point guard. Then I looked at the intangibles. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be determined to go back-to-back, and it's really hard to count up against a LeBron James-led team because he is arguably one of the greatest players we have ever seen, and he has the ability to single-handedly lead a team to victory. And not only that, the Cleveland Cavaliers are arguably better than last year's championship team with guys like Kevin Love stepping up, with Kyrie Irving having another great year. But then I look at the Golden State Warriors on the other side, and they've gotten better as well, adding Kevin Durant, who has become much more efficient on this Golden State Warriors team. And I just look at this offensive firepower. I look at Coach Steve Kerr, and I feel like they're going to find a way to win the NBA Finals. I also think they have a chip on their shoulder from last year not being able to get it done and choking. They've probably heard all these 3-1 memes that everyone's been saying throughout the year. And I think that's going to motivate the Golden State Warriors. And as much as I would not like to see the Golden State Warriors win the championship, as I am a LeBron James fan, I do think at the end of the day, LeBron and the Cavs are going to fall short of their goal of winning back-to-back. And Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and the Golden State Warriors are going to win the NBA championship. Comment down below what you think. Thank you very much. I'm Caleb Champion, signing off.